What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA channel. Today's video is a little bit different than our normal content. Today is more of a look into what's exactly happening right now in my life. A very special day has already unfolded, and it's going to continue to get more special. So right now, I'm actually in the bathroom of my hotel room in Las Vegas on the strip at the Mandalay Bay. The reason why I'm doing this video in the bathroom is because my girlfriend is asleep in the bed, so I didn't want to wake her up, but I had to make this video. So today has just been an insane day, and it's only going to get crazier, and tomorrow's going to be even crazier. So I just wanted to communicate everything that's happened and just share it with everybody, because just remember, like all of you guys, I'm just a massive fan of the UFC. Like John Morgan, I'm just a massive fan. And so these experiences, I want to take note of them, remember them, memorialize them. And so we're going to talk about everything that has gone down so far and what's about to happen in this crazy weekend that just got thrown together a couple days ago. It was a last-minute decision to come down here to check out Tuff-N-Uff, another promotion. But let me just fill you in. So made the trip out yesterday night, got into the Mandalay Bay and got in late. We had a late flight. By the time we got to the hotel, it was just after midnight. The room wasn't ready. Actually, this happened to multiple people. They had a big mishap. So they were still like cleaning the rooms. I don't know what was going on. So there were maybe like 30 of us that had to wait almost 3 hours to get our hotel room. Just beware at the Mandalay Bay. I was shocked, and then some other things happened anyways, but the whole thing was crazy. So we were waiting for our hotel room until 3 a.m, didn't fall asleep until 3:30. The reason why that was a problem was because the next day we had a private Muay Thai session scheduled at Xtreme Couture. But anyways, we made it through. We actually had an all right time while we were waiting, gambled, ate some food that was not great. Service was very subpar, but we made it through. It's all good. Nobody's complaining too much. So then we get to Xtreme Couture, and Justin, who would normally train me if I were in Vegas, he's not out of town right now, but we got to train with this legend, Jordan Christensen. If you guys don't know who Jordan Christensen is, he's a BKFC boxer. And it's crazy. I've talked to Justin about this. Guys who are successful in BKFC usually have some genetic advantage in terms of their strengths of their knuckles and their hands. And his fists are like blocks of concrete. And he has one gigantic knuckle that he broke years ago while he got into a fight. And he said he accidentally punched a rock, broke his knuckle, and then it like healed and grew back way stronger. So it's like he's got this massive club on his right hand. And anyways, we had an amazing hour-long session with him. My girlfriend actually is she's boxed for 20 years, so she's really good at boxing, but she's never trained elbows, knees, kicks, stuff like that. So she got to see what all that stuff. She got to see what Muay Thai is all about. And I thought we had a great training session. I love to train. I love to work with new coaches and just see what's up, see where I can tighten up my technique and get better. But while we were training, this is the craziest thing. So we like a lot of the spots were taken at Xtreme Couture. So we ended up having to share a cage with the one and only. If you guys are UFC fans, you know I was tripping out, but I tried to play cool. We got to share a cage with this legendary coach, Nicksick. He was actually in the same cage as us, just on the other side, and he was doing a one-on-one. And me and me and Nicole, we were working with. Sorry, I said Jordan Christensen. It's Jordan. Excuse me. I messed that up. We were training with Jordan, so it was crazy, and I was just looking across. Now, there's one point where I was kind of on a break, and Nicole was hitting the pads, and then she finishes, and I'm like, hey, see the guy that Eric's training? Watch him, because his Muay Thai is phenomenal. I didn't know who it was. I didn't recognize the guy at the time. So I'm just watching this guy's Muay Thai in awe, and just like his precision, his striking, his power, his speed, and he's a tall guy. Turns out he was a lightweight. Then it turns out he was a UFC fighter, but I just didn't recognize him. Also, my vision's really bad from even like 10 or 15 feet away. You have to get close to me before I can recognize somebody. And it turned out to be none other than Daniel Zellhuber, if I'm pronouncing that last name right. But you guys might remember him. This is from Noche, UFC Noche last year, where many people believe he had the greatest fight of 2024. That was one of the most insane, crazy back and forth fights. I believe he won. I mean, it was so close. It could have gone either way. I believe he got the victory but it was an insane fight. He took a lot of damage. I think both guys took a lot of damage, but that was the guy that I was training next to. I was watching him like, dude, this guy's so good. And Jordan said something like, oh, he's actually in the UFC. I'm like, I don't recognize him. What's his name? Daniel. And then, but he didn't say his last name. So I couldn't put it together because I couldn't see his face. That's the guy who we're training next to. So just imagine, I'm just a fan, dude. I love to train. I love to watch the sport. Now I'm in there with a legend of the game and a guy who had arguably one of the best fights in 2024, just cracking the pads, doing ground and pound, like just looked insane. Like he's literally terrifying in real life. So it was super cool. Then we're hanging out more, and who do I see in the cage next to me? Not our cage, but right over there. Chris Curtis, legend of the game. So I saw Chris. Now, Chris has actually been on our show before, so we have had the pleasure of meeting, but this was a while ago, and this was on our YouTube channel. So I wasn't sure if he remembered me, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go say hi. And he's in the middle of training camp. I maybe shouldn't have said anything because I really didn't want to bother him, but I'm like, he's going to remember me. You know, we talked for an hour on the show. He's Justin's boy, whatever. So I went over and I was like, Chris, what's up, man? It's Josefa. It's great to meet you in person. You were on our show not too long ago. Thank you so much. He goes, oh, yeah, cool, man. He was super nice, by the way. I'm not saying he wasn't, but I definitely feel like I bothered him when he's in the middle of training camp. And then Justin later told me, he's like, yeah, when he's in training camp, he's really in the zone. So it is what it is. I feel like really cringy about even going up and saying hi to him, thinking he would remember me, but it is what it is. Sometimes those things happen. Now, the next guy who I saw at Xtreme Couture, I did not make that mistake and was not even planning to say anything because I never met him, number one. Number two, I would just never do that with this guy. I saw the one and only walk right up. He basically walked up to the cage that we just got out of as we were putting on our shoes and everything and getting ready. He was right there, the one and only Mr. Sean Strickland. Now, I've heard people say how huge Sean Strickland is in person. This is the first time I've ever seen him in person, like up close. He is humongous. And he is pretty scary. Definitely would never, ever step in and spar with this guy after all the footage I've seen. But yeah, Sean Strickland was there like a legend. And by the way, if you guys are fans and also enjoy training, you gotta go train at some of these gyms. It's crazy. The fighters are just all there. All your favorite fighters, they're all around. Obviously, you don't want to disrupt them and bother them when they're in the middle of training for a particular fighter doing their thing. I'm sure that's annoying. And like I said, I feel so bad. Even though the interaction was really short with Chris Curtis, I feel so bad in retrospect that I even did that. But it's just super cool to be around that energy, be around that professionalism, and watch these guys who are true masters of the craft. Like, I have never seen, like, Daniel Zellhuber looked, it was like picture perfect. I've never seen somebody hit pads that well, that precisely, with that much power. And it didn't even seem like he broke a sweat. Like, he's just chilling, doing his thing. But it's just very, very impressive and very inspiring if you are, if you do practice the sport, especially if you're a Muay Thai practitioner. So anyways, very, very cool. Now it only gets crazier. So we left, me and Nicole were chilling, went to the lazy river at the Mandalay Bay. That's why we wanted to stay at this hotel, to do the lazy river. We just did a river thing last weekend. So we're like, let's do another lazy river. This will be really cool. It ended up being packed, and there were a lot of kids in there, which made it super hectic. It wasn't as I envisioned it. I thought it was going to be way more fun and way cooler, but it was kind of stressful. I've been at the lazy river at the Mandalay Bay before, where it's not nearly as crowded. It's like 10,000 times better, but it is what it is. We did that, and I'm just thinking, man, I'm having such a great day. I saw all these stars. Had a great training session. We've had some downtime. We're chilling. UFC 317 is down the road, and I'm not planning on going. Like, I just couldn't reconcile that. So I was talking to Jesse on Fire. I was talking to Justin. I was messaging some folks. What should I do? Should I just bite the bullet and go? And I was watching the tickets on StubHub, and they kept going down in price the closer we got to the show. I finally did it an hour ago. Right now it's 5:27 p.m. PST. So the main card starts in an hour and a half. So at 4:30, I decided, let's do it. Let's buy it. And the tickets came down in price, the ones that I was looking at. So I actually feel pretty good about the deal. But yo, guys, the day is only getting better. I am going to UFC 317 International Fight Week. Now, as big of a fan as I am, you guys may not know this. This is the first time I've ever gone to a UFC fight. I actually went to a Jake Paul fight, Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, before ever going to a UFC fight, which is a UFC event, which is kind of embarrassing. But I'm finally doing it. I'm also going to 319 later this summer, which is crazy. And I'm not going to be making a habit out of continuing to go because I love watching the sport on TV. but I'm going. And we got cool seats too. So this is going to be an experience. I'm going to see what I'm allowed to film or if I'm allowed to take any pictures or do things like that. And I'll definitely post all that stuff when I get back tonight. But yo, this is just a trip. And the last little bit that's going down is tomorrow. I am indeed going to Tuff-N-Uff where Justin Guitar Hero James will be commentating and running that show. So I'm going to get to go check that out. Everybody says Tuff-N-Uff is like the best regional. I don't know if it's considered regional or a feeder league or what you want to call it, but it's the best promotion that sends guys up to the UFC. So I'm very excited. And hopefully I'll get to meet the team and the people that put on this amazing production, but I cannot wait. Yeah. So I don't know. This is, for a UFC fan, this has kind of been a glorious weekend. A little bit of a bumpy start with the check-in and at the Mandalay Bay and all that stuff, but they've been very nice to us as well in terms of compensating us for all the mishaps. So we can't be upset really at all. I feel like they've done us right in terms of what we had to do yesterday. But now we had a chill day. We had a great training session. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready. We're about to rock out to UFC 317. Oh, and I met a guy when we were having an early dinner from Michigan, also going to the fights. So let's talk one more time about UFC 317 and what we're going to expect tonight. I'm not going to opine on every single fight, but here are my final predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, Peyton Talbott, he's going to get it done, I believe. I believe that he was so unfairly dismissed as fraud check, all this stuff. I just believe he's going to get it done. That's it. I know John Morgan picked Felipe Lima. He's probably way more informed than me. I just got a feeling and I got a belief and I got a hope that Peyton Talbott is going to come back because I'm a big fan of Peyton Talbott. The next fight, Kai Kara-France versus Pantoja. I'm going Kai Kara-France. It's a bit of a controversial pick, but I was talking to that other gentleman from Michigan who's also going to the fights tonight, and he was feeling Kai Kara-France with that knockout power. It's just such a rarity in the flyweight division that maybe Pantoja is going to be caught off guard. He's got what people are saying a puncher's chance. I think that's gross exaggeration in terms of like how favored Pantoja is. Like, he has much more than a puncher's chance, of course, but he's got that knockout chance. I think he's going to get it done. I think it's going to be exciting. But here's the one fight that I'm actually going to place a little friendly wager on. That's Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira, the main event. I'm feeling confident, guys. Ilia Topuria. As much as I love Charles Oliveira and I want to see him successful, I want to see him happy, I want to see him be the star that he is, I just think it's Ilia's time. And as Tom Aspinall said himself, he believes that Ilia Topuria is essentially unbeatable right now with how good he looks, how confident he feels, the support behind him, the momentum. It's going to go down. We'll check back in with all of you after the fights have concluded. But that's my pick, and I'm sticking to it. We shall see. Anyways, just want to share this whole experience with all you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel and being part of the journey. Let me know your comments in the comment section. And that is it. I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.